everyone, welcome back to ErikaBuilds and another Sims 4 speed build. Today we are in Windenburg working on a farmhouse that I found a picture of online that I thought would be really good for a big generations size family. So this house is designed for parents with at least 3 kids and also grandparents. So it's a big house. Actually, the house is really not that big, but it just has a lot of bedrooms and space for a big family. This is a 40 by 30 lot, and the house has a total of 5 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. Here's a look at the reference photo that I used for the build, and this house is actually just a suburban home, but it's just built in the style of like an old-fashioned farmhouse. And it was nice because the website also had pictures of the interior, which did give me some ideas about what it might look like inside using what we have in The Sims. And so I went with a sort of modern country would be probably the best way to describe it for the interior, which I think turned out really cute. But anyway, just to talk here a little bit about what you're seeing on your screen, you can see the house is taking shape. It is 3 stories and it also has a basement. There's a big front porch and also a back porch as well. I think this lot in Windenburg is really the perfect place for this house because, you know, it has this sort of country setting and you can see the wind turbines and the mountains in the background. And so I thought this would be a good place to put this house. I actually think this house would also look cute in Brindleton Bay, or really anywhere that has more of like a, you know, countryside type of lot. But the house, you know, since I had a reference photo, I pretty much spent the first like few hours of work just trying to work on the proportions of the house as to what it looked like in the picture. And that's probably the biggest challenge, because when you're just looking at a 2D picture, it's very hard to get some of the proportions, especially when you're doing the side of the house, because you can't really see the side that well. You can kind of just count windows and see if you can sort of guess how deep the house might be or how wide it might be. But I think it actually turned out pretty close to the original. Definitely, you know, there are a few things that are going to be different just because of the types of windows and siding and things that we have in the game to work with. But considering all that, I think it did turn out pretty cute. I actually really like this house. I think I'm going to use it for one of my main families, just because I have a lot of big families that I play, and so this is really the perfect home for that type of family. The exterior of the house is mostly all black and white. The siding is, on all 3 levels is white, and then the roof, there's a mixture of shingled roof within this sort of like hammered steel, I guess, tin or metal type of roofing over the porches. I actually had a really hard time with that front porch because in the reference photo, it had the hipped end on one side and then the gabled end on the other side, which in The Sims is a little bit tricky because typically we don't have one piece of roof where you have 2 different styles. So I had to kind of cut and paste bits and pieces of the roofing together to make it work across that front porch. I ended up cutting out some of it because it took me so long. And then it had this other like sort of gabled roof over the garage roof. I don't even really know how to describe it, except that it kind of looked like a stacked roof. So I tried to imitate that as best I could using the those little roof awnings that we got with cats and dogs, because really there's no way for us to set 2 different roofs on one floor. So This way I kind of cheated by using those decor pieces for that second set of roofs over the garage doors. Yeah, so the top floor has a pretty steep pitch, and those two front room windows also have kind of these very steep gables. And then in the very peak of both of those gables, there were little tiny windows, but since we didn't have any windows small enough, I just used those little decor vents to replace in place of those. Yeah, so for the most part, it's coming together pretty nicely. For the foundation, I just used a stone. The picture of the real house had this ceiling fan on the front porch with furniture, which I thought was really pretty, so I made sure to add that. And then over here on the garage, it's got a double bay garage. I raised the terrain so that the yard would come right to the lip of the garage door. The only bad thing, or I guess challenging thing about that is when you raise the terrain on one side, you can't really do, well, you can't do flooring, so you have to do terrain paint, which is fine, except that we don't have any terrain paint that really looks like a driveway, and we do have really nice flooring tiles that look like a driveway, but unfortunately, as the game is right now, we can't place flooring tiles on a slope. So I ended up having to go back and do a gravel driveway instead of concrete. But anyway, I'm here on the back side of the house, and in the real home, it had this big sort of, I don't know if it was kind of like a finished sun porch with a fireplace that I decided to use as a living room. And so I wanted to make sure that the fireplace lined up perfectly right there in the center. And that's one thing I always try to do in my builds is I always try to put the chimney on the outside of the house where the fireplace actually is on the inside of the house, because to me that just is more realistic. And then I just extended the roof of that living room over the back porch and to kind of enclose that. So yeah, now we are inside the house and I'm starting to try to figure out the floor planning. Basically, I just knew I wanted it to be fairly traditional because I'm thinking this house looks like it might have been an old farmhouse that was remodeled. So I think it would have sort of a traditional shape, but maybe a not so traditional way of sort of how it might have been refurbished. So I wanted to use some arches, and of course these nice tall ceilings were fun to work with. I actually haven't done a house with tall ceilings in a while, so that was kind of fun. And then upstairs is where I put all the bedrooms. So the parents' bedroom is up here, and then also 3 kids' bedrooms. And then 2 bathrooms. Well, one of the bathrooms is the master bath, and then there's another bathroom that's a hall bath that all 3 kids can share. I played around here, you might notice, with doing some Jack and Jill type bathrooms, but I ended up not doing that because then that would have left the child across the hall with no access to a bathroom without going through one of the other kids' bedrooms to get to it. So I ended up scrapping that idea and just doing a hall bathroom for all 3 kids. Yeah, so I'm just adding some windows, and then there's the 3rd floor, which is just kind of like a big bonus room, and that's where I decided to put the grandparents. So they kind of have their own little private residence up on the top of the house. Yeah, so I'm just putting some placeholder furniture down so I remember which bedroom is which before I jump down here and get started on the interior. Now I'm going to apologize because you're going to see a big time jump here with the kitchen. I started working on the kitchen and then boom, I turned off my recording and came back and forgot to turn it back on. I am so sorry. So basically you missed the entire kitchen process. But I used cabinets from the Vampire pack, which I think have a really nice country look. And I went with black and white and gray with splashes of sunflowers. So like some pots of sunflowers and some sunflower artwork and stuff like that to kind of give it some splashes of color. So I apologize for that. I'm so sorry, but hey, you can go and download the house and you can see the kitchen up close and personal for as much time as you want. Okay, so now over here on the other side, there is a huge dining room. And I've said this before in other farmhouses that I've built. I feel like the dining room is so important in a farmhouse or in a southern style house, country house. Because I've mentioned this before, you know, my parents are from the South and I grew up in a very sort of southern style home. And so I always think about big meals around the table and just really good, like homegrown vegetables and these great, like family nights around the table. So I don't know, that's just my own little personal take on farmhouse country living. And then on the other side, opposite of the dining room, is a home office, which I've done not really in a business type home office, but more like kind of a mom's home office where there is a computer, but then it's a little bit more family oriented instead of job oriented. So there's like some fun postcards and then the little kids hobby board there. So maybe this is where mom and dad keep the kids' schedules and all their, you know, family things organized. And there's a bookcase in here and then a little easel art corner as well. So yeah, nice little home office there. And then coming back out into the living room, I'm just adding some railing there, yay, and starting to work on this big great room type of family room. So there's lots of windows in here, which is nice. I spent a really long time trying to find curtains, which I still don't like the ones that I ended up picking. We need more curtains in the game so badly, especially long curtains and curtains like those ones that we got in Vintage Glamour stuff. I wish we had a ton more of like single curtains that we could add to windows on both sides. But I did the best I could with kind of finding something that worked out okay. And then for the furniture, I kept everything sort of in the same black and white and gray with splashes of color, because with the kitchen and the living room being open to each other, I wanted those colors to really complement and just kind of a streamline from like coming through the front door and by the kitchen and into the living room, like that it would just all go together and be in sort of the same theme and colors and stuff. This furniture is from Jungle Adventure, the couches and tables and rug and everything, which I think is really pretty. And there's a TV in here and just, you know, your typical sort of living room decor. There's some candles and flowers. There's a bookcase and some shelves. And yeah, just a nice place for the family to just sort of chill and relax and hang out. You could easily add a video game system in here if you wanted to. Or, you know, there's plenty of room even for more activities. Later, I did go back and put a chess set upstairs on the 3rd floor for the grandparents, because we don't really have like grandparents type of activities, but for some reason I thought maybe they would like chess. I wish we had a sewing machine. I think that would be really cool. But yeah, this bookcase I'm working on now is from Seasons, and I'm just adding a bunch of decor and pictures and stuff here to finish out this little area. Another thing I wish we had is more framed pictures that sit on tables. So we have like one of an apple, one of a pear, and one of like a soccer team, and I think, and one of butterflies. I think those are the only 4 framed pictures that we have. And so I would love more of those too. Then here in the other corner, I put this little country sort of decor piece from Laundry Day that has the milk crate and the jug with the flowers and stuff. I just feel like that looks very farmhouse and country. I kind of did a combination of like what you would normally see in a country style house, but tried to give it more of like a modern vibe. I don't know if that came across. You guys will have to let me know if you think so. It's kind of an upscale farmhouse, I guess, that would still have, you know, the touches of farm life. So yeah, I was just adding a couch table there, and now we are headed over into the laundry room. So there is a side entrance here right by the garage that comes right into the laundry room, and there's a bathroom there as well. So this is a big family, so I thought they needed a big laundry room. So I used pretty much everything that we have in the Laundry Day pack, all the furniture and decor, just taking advantage of all this space to make it look really homey and cozy. So there's like a backpack area, and then this cool like little storage area where I put like a bunch of junk and just mismatched stuff. I imagine this room is kind of a catch-all for people coming in and out by the garage there, that they would dump things in this room and it would constantly be overflowing with junk and everybody's things. And you see I keep going in and changing the lighting because I didn't want, anytime I'm working with white in the interior, black and white, or really any use of white, I like a white light, because to me, with the yellow lights that are like the default setting in the game, it makes the white look so yellow. So I made sure to change all the lighting in the house for the main floor and the bedrooms and everything to this more clean white light, which I think looks nice. Here you just see I'm adding a bunch of junk. I pulled some stuff out of the debug catalog and just tried to think of like what kind of random stuff would be in this laundry room. The walls and floors are Jungle Adventure. And that's the same for this little bathroom here as well. Well, I shouldn't say little bathroom. This is actually a full bathroom. This serves as not only the bathroom there by the laundry room, but there is a second entrance to this bathroom over by the dining room. So I imagine if you were having company or a party or a get-together or Christmas or whatever, it was nice that people could access the bathroom right from the dining room instead of having to go all the way around through the living room and through the laundry room to get to the bathroom. And in my last video, I mentioned to you guys how I really try to think about traffic flow patterns in the house, and I never want people, or I mean Sims, well I guess they're people, right? I never want Sims to have to backtrack and go around too far when they're trying to get, you know, to common areas. Here you can see where I added the stairs to the basement, which that is at the end of the video if you see what I did down there. But I just put a little bench there and some pictures to kind of decorate that. And then I ended up with several walls that just looked bare. And so of course my remedy to any bare wall is a mirror. I feel like this house has so many mirrors, but we don't have a lot. I mean, what can you put on a wall? A piece of art or a mirror, or, you know, there's not that many choices. So I did put a mirror there by the dining room and in the hallway as well. Okay, so now I'm up on the second floor working in this master bedroom. And when I was thinking about the master, I was thinking about the first floor and sort of like what kind of colors we had down there. And so I kind of wanted to continue this theme of gray. Because there's a lot of gray on the first floor, and so I wanted the second floor to kind of match that same tone. So for the master, I went with gray and white with splashes of blue. I've used this bed set before in another farmhouse build that I did, and I just really like it because I feel like the 4-poster bed looks very farmhouse country. But yet with the blue sheets and the little tables with the blue tops, does give some color to the room, which it needs. And then I just finished that off with a kind of a furry white rug underneath that. Then for the rest of the furniture in this room, I stuck with gray with splashes of blue. I used blue in a lot of the decor and in the flowers and stuff like that to kind of keep those pops of color. Because gray is a pretty, neutral, washed out sort of look. So you have to, I think, add color to it so it doesn't get too dreary. But yeah, so this is a pretty good sized master. I put like a little sitting area here by the window. I kind of like to imagine that those baskets maybe could be sewing baskets, maybe full of like yarn and stuff. So I put that there by the chairs. Then for the master bathroom, I just decided to go with Parenthood. In fact, I think all the rest of the 2 more bathrooms are also done in Parenthood for this house, which, it's very family friendly, of course, being from the Parenthood pack. And I liked how this blue and green with the gray tile and wainscoting looked with the furniture in the master. So I gave this master 2 sinks with sort of a little cabinet in between. And then there's a tub and shower in here. And of course, I'm just adding like all the towels and soaps and toothpaste and all that kind of stuff to get it all finished off here. And then I hung some robes. And yeah, there's some pretty much those puppeteer, I think they're called puppeteer. Maybe they're not. Now I'm not sure. Curtains are what I used pretty much throughout the house. I think they have a nice sort of country vibe. Okay, so now we are in the first child's bedroom. You can see I was kind of playing around with a few different beds, trying to choose which one I like the best. I decided to go with this sort of turquoise, which I thought was pretty. The only bad thing with this taller ceiling height is I feel like none of the curtains that go with kid rooms fit because they're all like a foot off the floor, which really bothers me. I wish they were longer, but we don't really have a lot of long curtains. I think City Living has a few, but really most of our curtains I think are just designed for like a standard ceiling height. So yeah, that's just a little thing that I always notice. But this bedroom has pretty much all the regular kids stuff. There's a desk and a computer, there's some toys, and just some kids decor. I love that open dresser with the view of the backpack and stuff and the clothes hanging in the closet. That's from City Living. And most of the decor I'm playing off of that same turquoise and blue, making sure that it all matches nicely. Then right across the hall is the smallest of these 4 bedrooms, and so I decided to give it to a toddler. Mostly I went with pinks in here. Again, here's these curtains that are too short, but what can you do because they're all the same length. And yeah, so what does a toddler need? Not much. A bed, some toys, there's a bookcase in here. I put a little animal chair by the bed. I love these rugs from my first pet stuff. They're so cute, especially for toddlers. And there's like building blocks and toddler tablet and all that kind of stuff. There's a dollhouse. So yeah, pretty much all the stuff that a toddler could want. It's pretty small room, but I think, considering that the bed and the furniture and stuff are so small, it works out fine. There's actually a playroom in this house also down in the basement. We'll get to that here in a minute. That even has more toddler toys and kids toys down there too. I just imagined that this family was very kid oriented, so I tried to make the house sort of like just very much everything that kids would want. Yeah, so now I'm just adding some toys and a few more pieces of decor, and then I'm gonna head down the hall to the last bedroom on this floor, which I decided to do for a teen. Well, at least I was envisioning a teen. It wouldn't have to be. This could be for a kid too. I went with the camouflage bedspread with some black curtains, and I kind of thought that this child was maybe like a gamer, so I gave him like the most expensive gaming computer, and then I gave him some music stuff. They have like a guitar and a microphone by their right by the mirror, so if they want to do like a music career maybe, or maybe they have they want to go into like the Get Famous type career. And of course a desk with a bookcase, and I went with the gamer chair because of course if you're going to have the high-end computer, you've got to have the nice gamer chair to go with it. And then I added one of those I almost said Alexa, but it's not Alexa. It's the thing that kind of looks like Alexa. I put one of those in there too for like playing music and stuff. Yeah, so I think this bedroom turned out really cute for like a teen or maybe a preteen. There's some video game pictures and posters and stuff too that kind of help complete that whole teen look. Yeah, so that's the last kids' bedroom, and then there's just one more bedroom left in the house, and it's up on the 3rd floor, and it's the one that I did for the grandparents. But as far as this floor, the only thing we have left is the bathroom. And like I was saying earlier, I played around with making that bathroom a Jack and Jill, but then I decided just to make it a regular hallway bathroom. That way, all 3 kids would have access to this bathroom freely, since it's the only one on this floor other than the master bathroom, which is only accessible through the master bedroom. I don't know, in some of my games, I have like the rooms set to lock where each bedroom is locked to that child and they're the only one that can go in there. Especially with teens, I have a tendency to do that too. So that's why I wanted to make sure that the bathroom was out in the hallway. So this bathroom is also done in Parenthood, but I went with this sort of country blue with cream and gray, which I thought turned out cute. And, you know, there's all the typical little like soaps and toothbrushes and robes. And I made sure there was a toddler potty seat in here since there's a toddler in this family. Of course, if you want to use this house for a family that doesn't have a toddler, it's no problem. You can just pull these toddler things out pretty easily. So then I cut a bit of the footage here where I was working on the 3rd floor trying to decide what to do with it. I ended up giving them sort of their own landing and hallway with an accent table with a bunch of like family photos and plants and mirrors. I'm kind of thinking that maybe the grandparents, this was their home, and then as the kids and grandkids started to fill up the house, they kind of retreated to the 3rd floor with all of the original like furniture that would have been in the house. And so it definitely has a very grandparent sort of vibe up here, and sort of like old farmhouse, you know, a little bit rustic, country, and very dark. So yeah, I was totally thinking that the grandparents would hang out up here and probably lock that door to keep the grandkids from driving them crazy. And as I said before, I ended up adding a chess set up here before I uploaded it to the gallery, because I thought, you know, maybe the grandparents could play chess. I don't know, what else could grandparents do? We don't really, what do we have? We don't have shuffleboard, we don't have golf. I don't know what else grandparents like to do. So I gave them a chess set, and yeah, so they've got a nice little hangout up here. There's a comfy chair, that's from Cats and Dogs. A lot of this stuff is from Base Game. And then this bathroom is so oddly shaped. It's only 2 squares wide. I did not have much room to work with up here. And of course I can't expand it because I'm stuck with the constraints of that roof pitch. And so it's kind of a long bathroom, but it's functional, it works, it has everything grandma and grandpa will need. There's a double sinks and a toilet and a bathtub and everything. I kept it kind of in the same vibe as the bedroom with lots of browns and cream and sort of old-fashioned. I think those sinks with the legs look very old-fashioned, and the toilet seat with the wooden seat looks, I think my grandma had one of those, but it looks very old-fashioned up here. So yeah, definitely grandparent zone up there. So then down here for the basement, I really didn't have anything in mind at first, and so I just kind of was winging it. And so when I started, I was like, okay, what can we put down here? How about a gym? Sure, that sounds like a good thing. So I gave them kind of their own little gym. It has a treadmill and a punching bag and a weight machine and also a yoga mat. So I think the parents could definitely enjoy this, or maybe even the teen, if you have a teen who would like to come down here and work out. And I put some music in there and lots of mirrors because that helps the room look bigger. And then just outside the gym, I did a little playroom. I was thinking about growing up in the country, and one thing I can always remember is, you know, when you're out in the country, you don't really have like sidewalks and parks and things that people have in the city, right? And so we did a lot of our playing either outside in the yard or inside the house. So of course in the winter or when it's raining or whatever, you're stuck inside. So I tried to think of just fun stuff that the kids could do down here for all ages of kids, boys and girls, toddlers and children aged. And so I put quite a few activities down here. There's a toy box and there's that sort of like Lego table. I put the puppet show down here. I thought maybe they would like to do that. Yeah, so, and there's even some more room there if you have other activities you wanted to add, like musical instruments or something. But it's just kind of like a little place for the kids to play inside all together. But of course there's toys in their rooms also, but this is kind of just their little hangout space. And then I also ended up putting a bathroom down here because I figure if the kids are down here playing, especially toddlers, they're not going to want to go all the way back upstairs to use the bathroom. So I just very quickly dropped in a little parenthood bathroom down here. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the build. I'm sorry this video is so long, but it was a pretty big house and it had a lot of rooms. So it took me pretty much the whole weekend. But I hope you guys like it. I think it turned out pretty nice. Of course, please, leave comments. Let me know what you think. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to stay up to date with all of my latest builds and projects. And you can follow me in the gallery. This house is available to download. My ID is ErikaBuilds, and you can also find me on Twitter and Instagram. My username is ErikaBuilds there as well. So I hope you guys will have a great start to your week, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.